Good evening, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started with our post-race media availabilities. We're now joined by Jeff Gordon with Hendrick Motorsports in our race-winning team. Congratulations, Jeff. We'll go ahead and open it up for questions. If you have one, please raise your hand and we'll get a mic over to you. We'll start down here with Jerry.
Jeff, Jerry Jordan, KickingTheTires.net. I guess it's a bittersweet day, a great win for you guys, and then the disappointment with Chase. Can you just weigh in on that dichotomy there?
Yeah, that's sort of the agony sometimes of a four-car team when one of them does so well. I mean, it has just an absolute flawless day, and I think with what William and the 24 and Rudy and that team did, it shows you that you just can't make any mistakes, right? You have to, these days more than ever, be flawless, and it means that the whole weekend's got to come together, from qualifying to restarts, pit road strategy, as well as pit stops and restarts, and those guys did it flawlessly. Unfortunately, we had some mistakes. The 48 was just off. I haven't really downloaded with them. They were off. I'm not sure how they lost some of the track position, but clearly, miscalculation with the 9 car, and that was huge. He was stretching. He came in a little bit short the first stop, and so they were trying to stretch it to get closer on the strategy of the others. And you always want to pad yourself here just in case there's a lot of restarts at the end. And the fuel just wasn't there, so it was really unfortunate. And I haven't talked to Kyle. I just know I think it was the last section. He was speeding off pit road, and again, that's just a tiny little mistake, but it ended up being huge because I think they had a car that could compete with William and run 1-2 between those two guys, or battle it out between them.
If you had to go into Daytona knowing you needed to win to make the playoffs, how stressful would that be on you, and what do you think Chase is going through right now?
I think we felt like we've needed to win for a few weeks. So, I think that you always race to win, so it doesn't really change your mindset a whole lot. It just puts a little bit more pressure because of what is at stake. But I also know that they can certainly win there. So, we'll do everything we can to gear those guys up. And, I think right now it's just more the disappointment that we had not. And I don't know. They had a great car. I don't know if we could, because there were no cautions, other than the one that basically he caused. I don't know that there was a way to get him up there in a winning position today without some more cautions. But they had the car, and everything was going their way to be able to do that. So we're just going to leave here disappointed in that. And then, next week, it's pretty much the writing's on the wall. We know that we're not going to get all 4 of our cars into the playoffs, so we try to make sure that we get one more in there, and I know those guys are capable of doing it, and it's a crapshoot at Daytona, right? Anything can happen.
We'll go to Nathan, then to Dustin, then to Jim.
Nathan Song with a podium finish. Jeff, probably fair to say that this is Williams' breakout season, so just kind of throwing it back a little bit, does his breakout season at all kind of remind you of your breakout season almost 30 years ago?
I love what I'm seeing out of the whole team, and it's hard for me to go back 30 years and remember exactly how that went down. But for us internally, it's just been this nice progression to see he and Rudy clicking, the team, and just everything coming together this year. And then the race cars are there, the pit stops are there, but then Williams just doing a phenomenal job, and you can see his confidence is there. And racing with some of the best out there on the road course today, and with a lot of pressure on the restarts, and to be able to get to the lead, and he did it perfectly today. So it just goes to show you his maturity and his confidence, huge, and get kind of whatever you want to call that, those 5 races that didn't go the way that they wanted them to, that just puts it in the rearview mirror. So I think it's all just looking forward now.
And in regards to Williams' development, he's talked a lot about how hard he's worked on trying to get better at road courses, his work with Max. Would you consider this road course victory maybe one of the final pieces of his driver puzzle, or do you think he still has more areas where he could get improved?
Well, you never stop improving. That all the way up to my final race, was working on something. So, but I do love his tenacity and just the way that he approaches every single weekend, and when you have a driver like that is saying give me as much information as I possibly can, whether it's pit road or restart selection or gear selection, braking zones, all those things like William does. He gets in the sim. It's about helping develop our tools and make them better, as well as make himself better and the team better, and he's all in. And I mean, you still have to have the other ingredients to go along with it. And I think that's what's making them have a standout, breakout, type of year, because the effort they're putting in, as well as the tools that they have at their disposal.
We're going to go to Chris, and then Holly, and then wrap with Andrew.
ChrisKnight@Chance.com. Jeff, I was just curious how you felt like the organization was heading into the playoffs. There doesn't seem to be a clear favorite of a team going into the playoffs because of the cars and the racing this year.
Yeah, as soon as you think, oh man, they're hot, and watch out for them, it seems like 2 weeks later, you're saying, what happened to them? It's crazy. I'm not as in it as much on the engineering side and everything that these guys are doing of how, but I hear the debriefs and I get enough of the information to realize that, I mean, you can be off. It looks like you could be way off, and it's just the tiniest little thing that you adjust or change, and all of a sudden you're right back into it. So you can see every team is trying to hit on that every weekend and struggling. It doesn't matter how good they are. And so I think that's what's going to be critical is as you get into these playoffs, of just making sure that you hit it more times than the other guys, and then get yourself to Phoenix, and then make sure that you do it one last time.
Go to Holly.
Hi, Jeff. Holly Kane with the NASCAR Wire Service. Just about William, how important is it to see him now succeeding on all different kinds of courses? Because that's going to be huge when it comes to the playoffs, and it probably also speaks to his, doing well and growing and learning as a driver and overall.
Yeah, I mean, he's capable of winning everywhere, and I know for us as we look at drivers and evaluate drivers, that's what you're looking for, is somebody that's diverse, somebody that's aggressive, but also knows how to save the equipment when they need to. Somebody can stay calm, in stressful situations, and you want them well-rounded as far as the tracks that they compete on, but you want them well-rounded as a person too. And you see Williams' demeanor; he's pretty calm and cool off the track, but he's aggressive on the track, and that's everything you can ask for out of a driver.
And we'll wrap with Andrew.
Andrew Laguerre, Elmira Star-Gazette. Jeff, just wondering if you had any thoughts. Back-to-back races, I think one caution total. I'm just wondering why have we had such clean races 2 weeks in a row on road courses?
Well, first of all, because we're not stopping for the stage breaks. I'm not saying I'm voting for it or against it. I'm just saying that was a change. And so, just those two, parts of the race where you're bringing it under caution and stacking everybody back up is more opportunity to have people bumping and banging and creating more cautions, as we all know. So, I mean, honestly, I watched that race today, and I felt like I was watching races from the 90s. It just, to me, it was the kind of race that you used to see at road courses. I laugh throughout, my career of I remember a time where people were saying, why do we have two road courses? The road course races aren't very good, and it's, just kind of strung out. And then we went to double file restarts, and then we went to stage racing, and all of a sudden the road courses are unbelievable and amazing. And now I think we've gotten better on the mile and a halves, and I think the super speedways seem to be really good, but the short tracks and road courses need a little bit of work. And NASCAR's certainly aware of it, and they're trying some things to sort that out. But it's just hard to get close to the car in front of you to then be able to dive bomb them and make some of these risky moves that then might turn into more cautions. And of course, we all know that we're not seeing a lot of failures like we used to, either, whether it be brake or engine or transmission. This stuff's pretty robust and durable.
All right.
Yeah.
Jeff, thanks for your time. Congratulations, and good luck the rest of the way.
Appreciate it.
We will go ahead and continue our post-race media availabilities with our race-winning crew chief, Rudy Fugle. Rudy, this is pretty close to home for you. What does this win mean?
Yeah, it's I really don't even know how to take it yet. I hope I'm sure it'll settle in after a few weeks or after the year. So pretty cool. Grew up about 30-40 miles from here, so came here a lot, but just in the area with my parents here and a couple went with my parents, so it's pretty special. So yeah.
Awesome. And how about excitement for William? Race number 5, win number 5.
Wow, just to get the road course win. He works and takes a lot of pride in his road course racing, and it's kind of been up and down. When he first got Gen 6, Hendrick was the best road race team ever, and he was really good at it and trying to learn from Chase. And then we got this next gen car, and we've kind of been up and down depending on the race. So started COTA really good, close to the 45, and then we've haven't been good at all until we were solid last week. How he's starting at the back, we didn't get to show it, and then this week just good the whole time. So that's huge on him from the feedback wise, and all of his work for braking and all the things he does to get better. So he drives that for us. So thanks to him. Max Pappas works with him. He's his coach, and that helps as well.
Awesome. We'll go ahead and start in the middle with questions. We'll start with Larry.
Yeah, Rudy, Larry out from the Buffalo News. Yeah, Rudy, you remember some of your years kicking around following the racing action growing up in the Buffalo, New York area when you used to go to different tracks. Talk about that. You've got a connection to Buffalo.
Yeah, for sure. No, I spent, I actually raced. The only thing I raced at Lime Rock Speedway in Caledonia, so not far. I raced at Ransomville Speedway, not far from Buffalo. Used to go to Canandaigua every Saturday night with my girlfriend, now my wife. That was just what we did. Those dirt tracks where we went all the time. And Syracuse was still open and rolling wheels. So Western New York dirt tracks and big block modifieds or whatever it was where it's at. So I still miss seeing that. I watch it on TV sometimes. But getting a win here is just as special. It's right in the area. Just to play sports not far from here. So it's pretty cool.
Additional questions? Come down here to Jerry, then to Kelly.
Jerry Jordan kicking the tires.net. At the beginning of the season, would you predicted that William would have 12 top 10s and 5 wins going into the playoffs before we ever got to Daytona?
Yeah, I mean, I really had a good feeling that we were going to have a good year. I mean, I really thought we'd compete to, and time will tell. We got to get to the Final Four, and compete for a championship. That's what we want to do. That's been our goal. But you never know how it's going to rack up. You don't know how it's going to be 2 wins or if you're going to get a bunch of top 10s or whatever it is. We just been really strong, and gotten a lot of good breaks and have super fast cars, and we've been able to capitalize. So having William, I mean, restarts, pit stops, they always keep us in it, no matter how our stuff is. So that helps. And then today was just a super fast car too.
Go to Kelly.
Kelly, CrandallRacer.com. Rudy, there's this dip that happens with you guys through like July and early August, and William talked about it yesterday, but he said the difference this year is you guys have had fast cars, but maybe we're just trying different things, unlike last year where you guys were just kind of missing it altogether during the summer. Is that the case with the 4 wins this late into the season? Have you guys been just maybe trying different things or trying to execute differently?
So some weeks that makes sense. Some weeks we've been off. Historically, even when I was truck racing, I wasn't super great. My teams weren't super great in the summer. Just some oddball races that don't line up, and I don't put we put focus on every single race, but put the most amount of focus on the races that win a championship and the races that get you in that championship, which is usually the first 10 and the last 10. And then the summer kind of plays in different ways. So we had fast cars at Michigan and Pocono and a couple other places this summer that we didn't have last year, and that helped. We've had things happen. We weren't afraid to try different strategies and take some gambles, and that probably hurt us at times for finishes. But a little bit of both. It's just kind of what happens. But it's just really good to get the momentum going for the playoffs, and we're super confident going into not only Daytona but going into Darlington. We're working super hard on that first round and hoping to move forward with that as soon as we can.
Are there any other questions for Rudy? All right, we'll take one final question over here from Chris.
ChristianHighCatchments.com. Rudy, I was just wondering how you feel about the last 10 races. Where do you feel like that you guys can execute the most? And obviously, going back to Darlington is one of your guys' great racetracks.
Yeah, no, I love the whole 10 races. They're tracks that are good for us. Tracks that we ran well at the beginning of the year. Tracks that we just went strong on. And honestly, we having a dip, as Kelly talked about in the summer, has made us work a lot harder, from all aspects. So I think we're going to have faster cars when the playoffs start. So we'll have more pace. Hopefully we can execute and do the right things. That's what the playoffs is about. With everything as tight as it has been in the next gen, it's about execution. You can't shoot yourself in the foot. You can't speed. You can't go to the back. You can't spin out and wreck. Those mistakes are harder to overcome. So that's our focus is execution. But every one of those races, Kansas we ran really well at. Darlington we ran really well at. Bristol, the 2 years I've been here, we've finished third both races, I think. So just really good races for us. So excited to go march to the playoffs.
And we'll wrap here with Holly.
Sorry, I'll be quick.
You're fine.
I just wanted to ask you if the fact that Williams dominated the race today, how important is that in making some sort of maybe a little statement? I mean, it may not be a purposeful one, but it is a statement when you do something like this as you guys are heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, it's almost self-confidence is fine too. I don't have social media of any kind. I don't pay attention to anything else. So it's all about what kind of self-confidence and our team's confidence. And if we can improve that, that's number one. So running well is great. But when you run well like this, we got six playoff points out of today. That's huge. 6 points is going to pay off at some point. So, and then to get 59 points overall today is going to protect us from losing third place. I think that I don't know that we're going to catch Denny or Martin, but a little protection going to Daytona is not bad.
All right, Rudy, congratulations. Thanks for your time and good luck in the playoffs.